Previously on Gears.
I've got to tell you one thing about Las Vegas. You want to see shows. Just sitting there going, oh, well, tonight Tiesto's playing and Calvin Harris is playing at the place next door. And then, I mean, it's just incredible.
I'm not sure if I'd come back.
It's just incredible what goes on there. So anyway, so we're in Las Vegas. And so now the beer pong thing's all done, etc., etc., and now we're part of history because there is the polar vortex. Did you watch it on the? You haven't seen anything on the TV.
I honestly have not watched TV for a month.
Did you know that most of from the middle of America moving to the east was basically like a glacier?
Yes, I do know that. I watched a bit of news.
All right, so. I mean, it was just ridiculous. There were like 11,000 flights that were cancelled, et cetera, et cetera. So people were stuck, and you felt desperate for the people. I mean, you know, we were in Las Vegas. I mean, the worst places in the world to get stuck. And at least Las Vegas was not warm, but it was just cool. I mean, it was fine. You know, we didn't have snow and, you know, minus degrees and that kind of stuff. You're averaging about 14, 15 degrees Celsius during the day. So, I mean, it was lovely. It was very, very nice in Las Vegas. So now the whole thing is, now you've got to understand, these beer pong players have been in the States since the 29th. Okay. And now they're meant to be flying out on the, what was the Monday? The 6th. Yeah, the 6th, last Monday, because today's the 13th. They were meant to fly out back home on the 6th. On the 6th, I'm meant to be flying to New York. Okay, to go and spend a few days there. So I go to the airport and they tell me, no, the flights are cancelled. So I'm like, whoa.
And now you've booked accommodation, sorted all of that out.
Yeah. Now listen, it's not a great way to start the year with the rant, but I have to. And believe you me, I have just cause for this. And the lady from Sun International will back me up. Most airlines today have what they call share groups with other airlines. So, for example, South African Airways has an alliance with Lufthansa and Swiss Air and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Loads of them. You know, which seems to make, one would assume, good business sense.
Yeah.
Okay. SAA's partner in the United States is an airline called JetBlue. JetBlue is a low-cost airline. Okay. Flew SAA, got into New York, got onto my connecting flight to Las Vegas, no problem. Seats were fine. It's one of those airlines you get it, you want something, you buy it, etc., etc. And if you want to upgrade to like a seat with more room, you can do that as well. So everything in America you buy. Okay. Everything costs money. So you want to supersize something, you pay for it. You want a seat with a little bit more legroom, you pay for it. Those kind of things. So that's all fine. Now at this time, most of the airlines were canceling flights. But on the 6th of January, from Las Vegas, United Airlines, Virgin Airlines were flying into New York. Okay. But JetBlue had canceled their flights. So I went to them and said, okay, well, what is the option? And they said, no. Well, if you can get onto one of the other flights, then we'll work a plan with them in terms of the ticket. So I said, okay. So I went to United and I went to Virgin, and unfortunately all the flights were booked, as one would assume, because, I mean, everyone's, you know, trying to get either to different places, so it was fully booked. So I said, okay, well, listen, there's nothing we can do. So I said, well, when is the next chance that I can get to New York? So they said, no, we don't know. I said, well, you know, can you give me any idea? They said, no. Well, maybe what we can do is we can fly you to San Francisco. So I'm going, okay, Las Vegas, San Francisco's there, but New York's here. And then from there, maybe if the flights are open, we'll fly you to New York. I said, no, well, that's not any kind of guarantee. Okay. So while this is happening, I check on the status of my mates' flights. Don't forget, there's the four of them of the players, and then there's Claude, of course, from Sun International, who's been looking after and all of our guests. So I phoned him from the airport. I said, listen, but I just want to let you know your flights are cancelled. Says, okay, well, let's try and make an alternative plan. Now, I could talk about this for ages. I don't even see my cell phone bill when it comes, because I've had to try and deal with getting a flight from Las Vegas to Johannesburg, a flight to get there. By this stage now, I've been phoning the whole of New York, cancelling all my other reservations, etc., because unfortunately I can't get to New York. So I'm stuck in Las Vegas. But now, you know what, all I want to do is get home. The guys that are with me, all they want to do is get home. JetBlue were completely inefficient. They didn't know how to get us home.
That's pathetic.
Till eventually, I'm not even kidding you, Daisy, I was actually talking to the lady on JetBlue saying, it's quite simple. There must be tickets available. No, we can't. There are no tickets available. I said, that's impossible. There've got to be tickets available on the flight. But because of these share programs, they only get certain tickets, and they only can allocate certain tickets, and they don't know if there are any other tickets available. So I took my chance. And on the Wednesday night, they had a flight that was going to New York, and I said, that's fine. Let me get to New York, and I will sort myself out. So I flew to New York. I said to the other guys, don't come, because if we get stuck in New York, you guys are going to be stuck, and I can't really help you. So I said, let me go. And I got to New York. I found the lady from SAA, and she was great. She was terrific. Her name was Darlene. Darlene. And I said to her, I went to her and I said, listen, this is the story. I said, this is what has happened. There's the flight at 10:40. This is now 7 o'clock in the morning. There's a flight at 10:40, and I'm going, I really want to be on that flight. So she says, listen, there are seats available, no problem or whatever. I show her everything that I've got from JetBlue. And she sits there and she prints out a piece of paper and she says, listen, just go to JetBlue and tell them to reissue the ticket. I said, you cannot be serious. I said, is that how simple it is? She says, yes. I go now back to JetBlue, which is in another terminal. So I got all my luggage with me, get to another terminal, wait in a queue with JetBlue, give them the piece of paper. I said, there we go. And she's written a letter saying, please issue a new ticket thanks SAA. I must have been there an hour and a half. They started issuing me a ticket to fly from New York to Boston to London to Dakar to South Africa.
No.
I said, no, you can't. I said, there's a flight now over there. I'm on the flight. It's there. Just issue the ticket.
Why are they so useless?
Well, this is what I really I struggled with. And what I really felt for was these four youngsters that were on this trip. And it's only purely because I've traveled and I've got a little bit more experience. They would have been stuck there with nobody willing to assist them. They would have just accepted it and walked away. And I just went, no, just issue the ticket. Till eventually somebody got on the phone and I said, here it is. There, I've got the piece of paper here. All I need you is to sit there and say, issue me a ticket. She says, no, but we don't fly to South Africa. I said, I know you don't fly to South Africa. I said, but SAA do. So eventually they gave me this ticket. I went back to the SAA lady. She said, no problem, go and check in. Perfect. She had organized me an emergency exit seat, which was terrific. Got onto the plane. There must have been 15, 20 seats available. So all of us could have flown.
Yeah.
So I'm really very unimpressed with JetBlue.
I would also be.
They were really, they were poor. And then to compound, just to make things just more exciting, my whole media video system didn't work.
Oh, no.
So you cannot...
You were very happy when you got back to South Africa.
You cannot believe how happy I was to get home. There we go. So if maybe you had some problems traveling, and you know what, I feel for so many people in the United States who had because they were going on their full holidays. You know, I already was there, so all I wanted to do was get home. But imagine those people who are booked to go to Hawaii on holiday or the Bermudas or anywhere else, and were locked. They didn't have a chance to go anywhere. Shame, I felt for them. But yeah, that was an adventure. Wow, I'm definitely going to write a letter to SAA and JetBlue about that. That's for sure.
Gears on balls.co.za.
Weekdays 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.